Joining me on the program now, Reverend Frank Ritchie. Frank, kia ora, nothing personal. You've also seen a few Easters.
I have seen a few Easters. I've been around the faith since I was about 5 years old. I just recently turned 48, so that is a few Easters.
Yeah.
And because of my upbringing, my Easters have involved many different Christian traditions, pretty much right across the spectrum. But I wrote an article in 2013, so 12 years ago.
Yep.
That was about, the article was about Holy Saturday. And so I was reading the article earlier today, and in the beginning of this article, I talked about how Lent is always just poorly focused for me, and I crash into it, and I don't really decide what I'm going to do until the day before. And at some point, I go looking for something that might deepen and enrich what I'm doing for Lent, and that usually it's what I create for public consumption that I get the most out of.
Okay.
I'm like, oh my goodness, 12 years later, and nothing's changed.
Are you at least stumbling in different points of the journey, Frank? I mean, or is it this? I mean, surely some things are a little bit different. That struggle, that brokenness, that gosh, I'm not really getting this. That's the same. But are you tripping over different obstacles at least?
Yeah, I think this time it was particular life circumstances and moving house and various other things that were going on that made my Lent very, very distracted.
Mm-hmm.
So the underlying same old story, different reason for
Yep.
it existing. So I got to it was last weekend, not the weekend that has just been with Palm Sunday, but last weekend I really decided, look, there's 2 weeks left of this. I
Yep.
really want something that helps me go deeper on a personal level, not just stuff that I can create for public consumption.
Mm-hmm.
So I went looking around different Christian traditions, and I stumbled across old Catholic Passiontide, which is a 2 week period
Okay.
where you really dive deeper into the more somber aspect 2 weeks out, not just in Holy Week.
This is
And it
custom
gets
made for
interrupt.
you, and that it's 2 weeks long, and you found it 2 weeks. But I mean, this is the
Exactly.
fingerprints of God are on this, Frank. That's fantastic.
Yeah, traditional Catholic Passiontide was perfectly made for me.
Yeah.
And as I started the readings, what the focus of the readings in the Gospels was last week for Passiontide was the rejection of Jesus. So it's stories about people wanting to kill Jesus,
Yeah.
completely rejecting him, and him making some really bold claims about who he is. There's one of the great I am statements, harking back to Moses' encounter with God in the burning bush and God naming himself. And that stepping into the complete rejection of Jesus 2 weeks out, I found really moving and profound, which made Palm Sunday and its celebration, its tradition of celebration, that much richer.
Yeah.
And then diving this week into the traditional readings of Passiontide has been really moving as well. But I couldn't help but connect that story of the rejection of Jesus to my own distraction.
Yeah.
And then seeing Jesus' grace and mercy towards those who were rejecting him as something that I can receive as well. It was deeply profound. And it informs how I'm approaching tomorrow with Good Friday, Holy Saturday, and then Resurrection Sunday as well.
The brokenness, of course, is an important part of the journey. And honestly, Frank, just at a personal level, I'm eternally grateful to you and to God that you haven't got your act together, because that'd just make me look worse, honestly. And the importance of saying, you know what, let's be open and honest about our brokenness. Let's talk about a struggle rather than spend that time polishing our halo and working on our self-righteousness as if it's a fruit of the Spirit, and saying, you know what, I'm rubbish at this. I don't deserve this. I'm broken and I stumble. But anyway, here's Jesus and what he did for me, right?
Yeah, there would be a horrible irony to Lent and its penitential nature and the story of the cross and everything that Jesus did for those who reject him. If we got to Easter and we had done Lent or done the preceding elements of Easter, or even if we did Easter weekend and we're able to walk away going, I did amazing. God and I are fantastic.
We're tight.
Look
Yeah.
at me. And so I'm not trying to engage in some sort of false humility
Yeah.
either. To put it really abruptly, I just know that every year I suck at Lent.
Yeah.
And so so then I get to Easter and I get to today, Maundy Thursday, and the story of the Last Supper. And as the night progresses, it's the story of Jesus' betrayal. It's his anguish in the Garden of Gethsemane. It's his arrest, and then it's his illegal trial through the night before we get to the events of Good Friday.
Yeah.
And my failed Lent every single year reminds me how desperately I need that, and then how amazing God is and how wonderful Jesus is for going through all of that. So me and my frailty, as someone who knows I don't deserve it, is gifted it, is given it. Like, that gift is phenomenal, but we only realize how phenomenal that gift is and how big that love is when we're faced with our own frailty. And that call of penance and Lent and discovering that we aren't spiritual giants is the way to recognize how big that love is.
I think Maundy Thursday, in some ways, is a great example of that. When we think of the Last Supper, the disciples gathered around the table, and Jesus washes the feet of his disciples, who honestly, the day before he was crucified, still didn't get it, despite the fact that he'd said out loud many times, hey guys, this is actually what's going to happen. Some pushed back on it, some were involved in the actual betraying of him. Some would go on to deny him and run away and hide. And yet he washed all of their feet. He washed Peter's feet. He washed Judas's feet. He served people who really, really didn't deserve his grace. For me, Maundy Thursday is a way of saying, you know what? This thing that's about to happen, I don't deserve this, but praise God for it.
Yeah, and Maundy Thursday has so many elements of our humanity in it. Like, I think about Peter, and I love Peter. Peter, no, Jesus, don't wash my feet. I need to wash your feet. And then when he's challenged about the fact that he's going to deny Jesus, like, no, I won't deny you.
Yeah.
And then only hours later, he's doing exactly what Jesus said. But the grace is still there. And I can imagine Jesus internally just kind of rolling his eyes a little at Peter, or feeling that warmth of, you think you're something, but you're really not. And then, but the denial doesn't break anything, because Jesus is in the business of redeeming. So then we get, in the season of Easter, we get, that comes after this weekend, we get the story of Peter's redemption and God drawing back in and Jesus righting that relationship. It's all the work of Jesus.
No, super good indeed. And to be able to sit in this season, particularly for you and I, and perhaps some of the people listening to this or watching this at the moment, who have done a few Easters beforehand, an opportunity to revisit the grace that we receive, to revisit these remarkable characters, the story, and to hold it in our heart. It's not just a narrative. It's not just a series on YouTube. This is real. And as we lean into the reality of that story this Easter, the reality of that in our own lives, because yes, we can read these stories and we can go, you know what, you can believe that this happened, or we can believe that this is a fable or a made-up story. But actually, Frank, the thing that keeps coming around to me is, well, I know it's real because of the transformation that's happened in my own life through Jesus. That's all the evidence I need, right?
Yeah, and I think the beauty of coming back to that reality year after year after year is that we spend so much time getting distracted all the time. And there are messages bombarding us all the time that either it's not real, or that we don't deserve it, or that you're not good enough. So we come back to it year after year after year, and we do this over and over and over because we continually need to be reminded of God's goodness.
Hey, Frank, thank you so much for the work that you do. I know Easter's a very busy season for you, so appreciate your time today. Kia ora, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.